Hello and welcome to Procrastination Point's video Snark. I'm continuing my sarcastic book review of The Mister by E.L. James. Not the first video, go check out the others, links are posted below. Chapter 3. The chapter opens with Max getting a call from an old friend. As Max has to put off doing what he wants to do in favor of what he needs to do, he fumes over his brother's sudden death. Later, Max goes to a bar in the hopes of picking up another meaningless woman for the night. He also spends an unholy amount of time describing just what exactly it is that he's been doing recently, none of which is remotely relevant to literally anything. I really hope that this doesn't turn into a trend. Ugh. He picks up some random chick from the bar and takes her back to his place. Like with the other one-night stand, we spend way too much time on a character that we're probably never going to see again. I wake with a start. In my dream, I'd been searching for something elusive, a vision that keeps appearing and disappearing, an ethereal vision in blue. Are we seriously going to be doing this? Max wakes up and is happy with the knowledge that his one-night stand has slunk off before he woke up. However, his good mood sours when he remembers that he's supposed to have a lunch meeting with his mother and sister later, and he knows that they'll want to talk about the will. Max then goes into a bit of a panic when he hears something from the other room. He thinks that it's his date from last night. To the surprise of literally nobody, he instead finds Alyssa. And okay, so I know that you should take some time to establish things in your book, but at the same time, we've already established that Max hates his new title and the work that comes with it, on top of him being a horn dog. Did we really need an entire chapter that basically boils down to him bringing yet another pointless background character home for the night? Chapter 4. Tall, lean, and half-naked, he towers over her. His hair is an unruly chestnut mess with gold highlights that glint beneath the chandelier in the hallway. He is as broad-shouldered as she remembers, but the tattoo on his upper arm is far more intricate than she recalls. All she can distinguish is a wing. A smattering of hair on his chest tapers down over a toned stomach, then resumes beneath his navel and travels further down into his jeans. The tight black denim is ripped at the knee, but it's the hard line of his full lips and his eyes, the color of spring, and a handsome, unshaven face that makes her look away. Do you need to establish that two characters are going to bang eventually? Readers are rubbish at picking up on subtle clues, so you'd better help them by smacking them around the face with a really long description of what the characters see when they look at one another. Yes, I'm being sarcastic. Stop writing like this. Elisa is startled to be confronted by Max, but does she worry about the possibility of losing her job? Nope, there's something way more important on her mind, him preventing her from playing the piano. Max stares at Elisa and thinks that she's honestly kind of cute in an amusing sort of way. He asks her again who she is and where the other cleaning lady is. He has a moment that I swear is copy-pasted directly from 50 Shades, where he's just insanely turned on by how submissive and cute that Elisa is. My whole body tightens in a hot, heavy rush as desire hits me like a demolition ball. I came in like a wrecking ball. Sorry, not sorry. Don't make me sing Miley Cyrus. He also feels an automatic pull towards her, one that he can't explain. Ugh, I'm really done with these insta-love stories. I have yet to see one that was actually good. Perhaps you don't understand me, I say, more to myself, and run a hand through my hair as I bring my body to heel. Christina's mastery of English extended to the words yes and here, which often meant lots of gesticulating on my part when I needed her to undertake tasks that went beyond her usual cleaning routine. This girl is probably Polish, too. The entire idea of having people work for you who don't speak your language is just an insanely disturbing and racist idea to me. And it's even worse when you remember that the endgame relationship is supposed to be Elisa-Max. Alicia tells him that Christina went back to Poland but doesn't answer either way about if she'll be back. She says that she's been in London for 3 weeks now. The entire time Max is getting more and more turned on by her. He finally asks her name and then introduces himself. He asks that she get back to work and then asks that she change the sheets on his bed before excusing himself. As Max leaves, Elisa finally thinks about the possibility of getting fired from this job. However, all of that is muddled with thoughts of being away from the piano. She vows that she'll clean the apartment so well that he wouldn't want to replace her. She is a little attracted to Max, but values her job more than any attraction she might have. She goes into the bedroom after Max leaves and wonders about things like a pair of handcuffs and silk ties attached to the headboard. Can we not? Meanwhile, Max works out in the gym and tries to puzzle out why he's so attracted to Lisa. I'm also trying to figure that out too. However, he seems to want to put all of his problems on Kid, which sounds super healthy. Sarcasm. He thinks that the stress of his new title and the work involved is causing him an emotional break. And I get that the stress of your brother dying on top of a bunch of new responsibilities would cause anybody to snap. But I can't say that I've ever heard of people snapping so much that they're attracted to random strangers. Elisa hears Max return and then he leaves without saying goodbye a few minutes later. She goes to check his room and finds his sweaty workout clothes on the floor. They were all damp with his sweat, but to her surprise she didn't find this as repellent as she did before she met him. Ew. Not even German has a 9 big enough. As she smells his stinky clothes, she has a really random bout of homesickness, and then she goes and plays the piano. Max goes to the restaurant where he's supposed to meet his mom and sister, but gets there early because he needs to drink. Specifically to forget about Alicia, but he's also thinking about how much he doesn't want to have a conversation with his mom. And sounds like you're an alcoholic, but okay. Inside, Max runs into his sister, Mary Ann, aka M.A. No, I will not be saying those initials ever again, and I will only ever just refer to her as Ma from here on out. James started it. Ma is upset that their brother is dead, and Max encourages her to get a drink with him. As they're shown to a table, the waitress is clearly checking Max out, but he's in such a sour mood that he doesn't care how hot the waitress is. Max asks about their mother, and Ma admits that it almost seems like their mother is hiding things from them. But enough about that. Ma is a medical doctor. Isn't that exciting? The mother, Rowena, shows up as Max is talking about how upset Caroline is over not getting a cent. Max clearly has a strained relationship with her since he coolly refers to her as the Dowager, the Mothership, or just by her forename. However, she divorced the father and lives in New York, which might explain why Max has such a low opinion of her. As they settle in, Max says that he met with the family lawyer and Caroline got nothing. However, Rowena might seem kind of cold-hearted to Max, but says that they can't let the poor girl starve in regards to Caroline, but then immediately says that Caroline has a trust, and when her father dies, she'll inherit and become filthy rich. They continue to talk about this for a moment, and I can't believe that I'm saying this, but let's jump to the Alicia-Max relationship, because at least we wouldn't have to suffer this tedious conversation. Max calls her Rowena, which she tries him about. He says that he'll only call her mother when she starts acting like one. She then guilts her remaining children into writing her oldest son's eulogy for a memorial. Max brings up that Caroline could be pregnant. Rowena sees this as nothing but good and heavily implies that she'd rather put a literal baby into the role of Earl than to let Max have the role. Max only just teases Rowena because she seems like one of those women who refuses to admit that she's aging, and the fact that she's also cougar and goes after men half her age, but this only prompts Rowena to chide her children that neither of them are settling down anytime soon. Max later goes home a little drunk and can't stop thinking about Elisa. I'm already over this pointless moping over her, and it hasn't even been one chapter since they first met. It hasn't even been a day. He texts back and forth with Caroline for a bit. She clearly still wants into Max's pants, and so he tells her that he isn't alone, and she doesn't respond after that. Restless, I sit down at my desk and open mail on the iMac. E.L. James's The Mister is brought to you by Apple. He feels restless and tries to do work, but finds that he's in too bad of a mood for it. He thinks about going to a club, but decides that he's not in the mood for that either. So he sits down at his piano, looks at a song that he's been trying to compose, and then starts working on that instead. Naturally, he thinks about Elisa while he's composing. And I know that we're only 4 chapters into this, but these chapters were just so pointless. I had really high hopes with the first 2 chapters, only for them to be dashed when I did the next 2. I really hope that the book picks up some as the relationship actually begins. Thanks for listening to my Book Snark on YouTube. New videos are up every Monday, but stick around because sometimes I drop random videos on other days too. You can like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you don't miss a single video. While you're waiting for the next video, you can go check out all my other videos. If you're already caught up with all of my videos, you can go to Tumblr for my main Book Snarks, always free and updated every morning. And if you've already read all of my main Snarks, then you can find even more Snarks on my Patreon. You can access it for $1 a month. Plus, you get early access to my main Tumblr Snark. Special thanks to Dawn, Phoebe, and Nikki for supporting me on Patreon already. If you want to hear your name in my video next week, you either support me on Patreon or make a one-time donation. Do you like my snark so much that you want me to snark your writing? I do that too. For just $3 per chapter, I will tell you how awful that your writing is. But not to worry if you feel like you couldn't take the criticism. I also offer regular book editing as well, $3 for every 5,000 words. You can contact me on Tumblr if you have further questions. If you want to read some of the things that I've written, you can purchase my works on Amazon. I have 19 erotic short stories, 1 short story collection, and 1 full-length novel. I also sometimes run flash sales on my stories, and if you don't follow me on any social media, you might want to do so just so you know when I might be offering more things for free. Links for everything will be posted below. See you next week, guys. My whole body tightens and a hot, heavy rush of desire hit me. Max only just